56 nights crazy. I think 56 nights crazy. I think me and Yes go crazy. I think me and Young go crazy.
What's good, everybody? It's Alexis J, and y'all, I'm back with another video. I might get emotional making this video, so y'all that's all I gotta say. So this is like a little sister talk, y'all. Let's talk. Let's be for real. So y'all, I don't love my job, but I love my patients, and I love being able to see my patients. But y'all, for like the past couple of months, God has been telling me to go ahead and quit because I'm not focused on my content creator journey, and I'm not focused on my business, and it's just a lot. So I'm gonna say Monday, September the 18th or 19th. I ain't look it up, but it's one of those days. And y'all, it was like the voice and the urge got louder and louder and louder. And sometimes as a Christian, y'all, and with me walking with the faith of the Lord, sometimes I know when it's God's voice, but at the same time, I don't. And sometimes it can be a little tricky because sometimes the devil always be listening to y'all. And sometimes the devil can like try to games on you too. So y'all, the voice and the urge got louder, and it's telling me to quit my job because I need to focus. But I really think it's God. And I was telling my mama about it, and she was like, well, make sure you pray and ask for clarity. Sometimes, y'all, when you pray and ask for clarity, God doesn't immediately answer it. But I think it's God because, y'all, this has been going on for like the longest. The last, like, anytime I get the urge to quit a job, y'all, usually I'll quit. But sometimes you want to have that feeling of stability when it comes to your finances. And I love that consistency with getting a check when it was time for me to get paid. And y'all, I got big girl bills. So there's that as well. When it comes to owning a business, it can be risky because some days you can get 0 sales, and then there are days where you can make 100K in sales. And y'all, I haven't made it to making 100K in sales. I haven't made it there yet. Let me say it like that. I haven't made it there yet, but I definitely would love to get there soon one day. But I really need to start back focusing on my business because, y'all, I quit my job before to start a business. Anytime God places a vision in your head, it's for you. God plans and ideas and visions in your head for a reason. He don't want you to just sit there and not act on it, like, because he do. God really do. And with that being said, y'all, so the first time I ever quit my job, I was working at Panda Express. This was when I was like 19. One day, this was during the time when I was trying to re-enlist back into the military too, y'all. More the story, I didn't re-enlist. I ended up quitting that job, and that's when God placed it in my head to start a business. Now, where did AJ's Jewels come from? Alexis J's Jewels. These are my prized possessions, my most valuable things that I'm putting out and that I'm selling. So anything that comes from Alexis J's Jewels, y'all, whether it's clothing, lashes, cosmetics, beauty products, anything, you name it, y'all. I am a versatile when it comes to the products that I'm selling and stuff. But y'all, God gave me that vision, and I put it into act. I immediately started buying inventory that I need. God is constantly putting more and more ideas for my business in my head. But every time I get off work, y'all, it's like I'm tired. And God is like, you can't keep doing it. The same amount of time that you putting into that job is the same amount of time that you need to put into your business and to put into focusing on me, y'all. Because this year I told myself that I wanted to get closer with God and to really focus on reading God's word. And every day for like from January to like March-ish, that's when I was like, I want to read my Bible, but I did not read my Bible. I kept saying, I want to read my Bible. I want to read my Bible. I want to get into God's word. I want to learn what it is in the Bible, because they say you got to learn for yourself. And y'all, when I say, what? But when I say the Bible is so interesting, y'all, the Bible is like definitely interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it right there. But it's so interesting, y'all. It is good. From what you learn, everything. Keep this in mind, y'all. I'm not the perfect Christian. I do still sin. I do still fall short. But each day that I'm going through life and each day that God wakes me up and provides me with breath, y'all, I'm striving to be a better person than I was the day before. So keep that in mind. But God is still working on me, y'all, because I've been in a real consistent relationship with God since I really started reading the word and spending more and more time with God. Don't get me wrong, I've done it before, but I definitely strayed away from God. God had his open arms for me to come back, and I'm back. But y'all, I did all that to say I've quit a job before and completely allowed God to take away from me because, y'all, luckily, I'm a hustler. Thank God for my parents as well for teaching me things and allowing me to be me unapologetically and trying new things. So when it comes to doing hair, y'all, I love doing hair. That was definitely my first love and my first passion and my first business. With me knowing how to do hair, that is what my consistent income came from. That's how I was able to get inventory, the whole 9 yards, how I was able to pay bills, because y'all, during that time I had just dropped out of college. Like literally, I was at the finish line. I was finna graduate in that October, but I dropped out right before summer. It was definitely around May, because that's when I quit my job too, because I couldn't balance all of it. I should have stayed in school and just quit my job working at 9 to 5 because it was not going good. But I love to do hair, y'all. I was on the dean's list. Come on now. And I dropped out. Like, don't get me wrong, college was easy. I love my college classes, but they was teaching too slow. And y'all, with me coming from Murphy High School, being in the International Baccalaureate program where it's like fast-paced learning 24/7, all day, every day, all week, having quizzes back to back to back on what you just learned and everything, y'all, those classes were too slow for me. And I really should have stayed in it because, like, I was on top of my schoolwork. I finished all my schoolwork within that week they assigned it to us. But I don't know. That's just crazy. But I do plan on going back to school. I'm waiting on God to tell me when is my time to go back to school, because right now is not that time. It was so many days when I thought I wasn't going to be able to pay my bills. Luckily, during that time, I had a partner who was like very understanding, and he was very supportive of my dreams and my goals. And it was likewise too. Y'all, God is so good. All I had to do was be consistent with God and praying. Like, y'all, I still had a relationship with God, but it wasn't as strong as it is now. Through those days where I thought I wasn't going to make the money in time to pay my bills or my car note or whatever else bills I had during that time, y'all, God proved me wrong, because just when I thought I wasn't going to have the money, that's when clients would come up, get me do their hair. Thank y'all for all my Mobilians who supported my hair business. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for supporting me. Y'all are so sweet. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. And y'all just don't know. Y'all helped to prepare me for where I am today. And also, I did get sales from AJ's Jewels as well during that time. Definitely, I was more consistent back then because I didn't have a job. All I had to do was wake up, get my content creator day started. And y'all, I was also into content creating back then, but this was before I got real consistent with doing YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, because back then my main focus was my business, hair, and AJ's Jewels. Those were my only two businesses. This was before I started doing graphic designing and before I started doing my fashion homemade clothing item business. And the only reason I did get a job in August because God had put in my mind, me and my partner during that time, our heads, that we want to move out of state, and we did exactly that. October, me and him did move down here, y'all. Yeah, that was the only reason I did get a job, so I can have more income for when it was time to move down here. That way we didn't have to stress and didn't have to worry about us not being able to pay bills during that time because we haven't gotten jobs yet. Then during that time, so during October of like 22, that's when we first moved down here, and I had started working the job that I'm working at currently. And ever since then, like, I had put my business on the backside. Like, I did not focus on my business. Like, I was trying to get it back started because I had made this launching documentary. I'm gonna post it for y'all. But I just had so much going on during that time as well. Paved the way for me to where I am today with relaunching my business. But at the same time, y'all, it was like I tried to relaunch it then, but I didn't promote it enough. I had so much going on with life where I was just hurt, bitter, depressed. It was just so much going on during that time, y'all. And so hurt during that time. I was not me. I am at so much peace when it comes to the situation, and I've matured about it, and God is just so good when it comes to that situation as well. I really didn't start really thinking about my business again after I tried to launch it in I think it was like February when I initially started. So y'all, my business, I have been in business with AJ's Jewels for like almost a year, but it wasn't consistent after I had moved to Texas. I didn't really start focusing back on my business until July-ish, and the only reason I really got motivation to start back doing my business again, shout out to my cousin Gabby, because Bookie, you really helped inspire me to get my business back on and popping. So thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. And make sure y'all check out her business as well. My family is full of entrepreneurs, and I love that for us. But her ads will be in the description down below, and I'm also putting it on the screen as well. So y'all, please check out A Grain of Arcane. Also support my cousin business because she doing her big one up out in Maryland too. So shout out to you all the way from Houston, Bookie. I'm so grateful for her. So yeah, she definitely inspired me to start it back. I don't think she noticed, but she definitely helped me out when it comes to my business and when it comes to having somebody that actually understands when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So big shout out to my cousin Gabby, because Bookie, we go beat up. We go beat up. I did all that to say as well, with her inspiring me during that time, this would help me to relaunch my website on Wix. Y'all, I love Wix. Like, before I was using Big Cartel. Big Cartel was good and all, but it was time for me to move up and to step up my game for my business. So I relaunched my website July. I'm in the process of still trying to focus back on my business, but at the same time, with me having a job where I'm constantly working at least 80 hours a week, y'all, like, I'm really overworking myself with this job. I'm an overthinker when it comes to paying bills. Like, all my bills can be paid on time, but I'm an overthinker, and I have a fear of being behind on bills, only because of what my parents went through, and we always want to provide a lifestyle. Like, don't get me wrong, my parents, they did a great job of being parents and paying bills and stuff, but at the same time, when you come from a family that doesn't know much about being financially free, it's like you want that for yourself and you want to pay them back, but at the same time for yourself and for future generations, which is why I'm definitely trying to break generational curses and build generational wealth, because who don't want generational wealth for family and offsprings and everything? So y'all, that's what I'm trying to do. This is why it's so hard for me to quit my 9 to 5. But at the same time, with the relationship that I have with God, it's like I know that God has me, but at the same time, it's like I'm fearful. Y'all get me? Like, I'm fearful. Next week, I do plan on, I want to quit next week. I was supposed to do it Monday, but I never did. I love my patience so much, y'all. I really love my patience. It's like once you create a bond with your patients, like, you got to realize, with the job that I'm in the healthcare field, y'all. I love doing what I do. I love helping people, regardless of if it's like through social media influence and just being myself, or if it's when it comes to like people's health and watching after the elderly. Well, also God did that for a reason. God put me in this position for a reason when it comes to caregiving, because it has taught me to appreciate every single moment, y'all, because God do things for a reason. He took me away from my family. He isolated me, y'all. And during this journey, it has taught me appreciate the moments and appreciate everything during that time. But once it's time for you to elevate, and once you allow God to come into you and allow him to fulfill you, y'all, no one or anything can stop you from doing what God has predestined for you to do. But God has also wanted me to learn that while I was being a caregiver, of course, to appreciate those small moments, but he's also teaching me the real values of life and the real values of encountering people and meeting people and knowing people, which is why it's so hard for me to quit this job, because y'all, my patients have really taught me so much, from their guidance to me just admiring the fact that I have clients that are actually in their 90s, y'all, still looking good, still moving around. That's the only reason I can't leave this job, because if we're being honest, the job pays nothing. Living in Texas, it don't pay anything. You have to really have multiple streams of income, which is why I love social media, and which is why I love being a content creator and an entrepreneur, and just being able to know how to use my different gifts that God has blessed me with to make an income as well, which is another reason why God is telling me that you need to go ahead and quit this job. He's telling me, he knows that I love my clients, but at the same time, he knows that what he has for me is so much bigger than his job, and the people that he's about to place into my life, then I'm finna walk into so many wonderful opportunities that, y'all, I would not even be able to fathom and wouldn't even know how to praise him and to thank him. And he's telling me that my trials, my struggles, my long nights of crying is definitely coming to pay off. So sorry, y'all, God was just speaking to me, through me, and for me. Oh, and also I want to give a big shout out to my client, because she is another big factor which helped me come back closer to the Lord. Because it's like when you meet people who are actually walking in the Lord's pathway and walking with the Lord, it's like it's unexplainable. But big shout out to my client too, because she is also another big reason as to why I went back to God and really being consistent with my journey with God as well. I'm not making this video for anybody who's to just go ahead and up and quit, because you really have to have a plan. But I'm giving y'all from my point of view and my perspective of what God has been doing for me, and the reason why God is wanting me to quit my 9-to-5 to focus more on God, to focus more on my career when it comes to content creating, and when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and when it comes to me going back to school. I'm so amazed that the things that God has been doing and the pathway that God has brought me down. And I just want to say, for anybody that's thinking about quitting their job, make sure you have a plan in place, especially if you want to begin to focus on your entrepreneur job full time. But at the same time, make sure that God is telling y'all to do it as well, because God has been telling me this for the longest. When the feeling come back stronger and stronger, it's like you have to do it. So with that being said, once again, y'all, I plan on doing it real soon, and stay tuned for that video as well when I finally do it. Stay up to date with me on all my social media pages. And if you need a graphic designer, don't forget to hit me up, and don't forget to support www.ajjules.org, y'all. I just dropped a new ebook. So be sure to check it out as well. But thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all.